everybody. Today I'm going to be scrapping these photos of my grandson at our local children's museum. And I'm going to be using a lot of items from the Amy Tangerine Better Together collection. I also have some simple stories there and a little bit of Schmel Starshine as well. So I've decided that I really like this bright yellow to mat the photos on. That's Amy Tangerine Better Together Fact or Fiction. All of the photos actually are Amy Tangerine Better Together. What I did is I just like the brightness because the photos are kind of dark. We were inside. It was hard to get the photos with my camera, and I didn't have my big camera because we were playing so much. I really just had my cell phone. So that brightens everything up. And then what I did there is I actually separated the photos just a little bit on the mat just because they didn't work well butted up against each other. It was hard to tell what was what there. I took that green piece of paper, and that is the Hugs and Kisses paper, and just cut off the border strip. And now I'm taking the navy paper there. That navy paper, the blue polka dot paper, is called Push and Pull. And I'm actually going to leave a bit of a border on this because I think I want my title to rest on the blue paper, just because the polka dot is so bright and the green background, obviously if I use these green letter stickers, it would blend right into it. So these green vinyl letter stickers are called Doll, but there's no color, so it's the Doll font, and I actually like that font. I have it in quite a fabric, and I also have some glitter in the Doll. I believe there's glitter in the Doll as well. I did cut the polka dot paper down just a little bit there off the right side there so that the border is about the same all around except for on the bottom. And I now went and I cut down that polka dot paper. So that multicolored polka dot is called Ladies and Gentlemen. And I'm trying to decide if I want to justify that to the right side of the layout or if I'm going to leave it so that there's space, a border on both the right and left. And I'm not going to make that decision for a little bit yet. So this also on the Victoria Marie National Scrapbooking Day, the Facebook group challenge, one of the challenges was an ingredient challenge. We had to scrap with more than 3 photos. We needed to use a border strip, and we needed to use something with dimension. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm looking at including the border strip. I'm going to struggle with where to put that border strip for a while, and when I figure out finally what I want to do, it just kind of makes me laugh. Although I'm going to trade the border strip out. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use a different one. So now I'm looking at journaling. So I'm thinking about using some sort of cut apart journaling card there. And I haven't cut that polka dot paper down at all yet. I will eventually because I'm, trying to decide that too. What kind of journaling, what kind of journaling element am I going to use? And that pink isn't really appearing much in that polka dot. It's really more in the border strip. So I really don't like it. I like the white of that and the frame of that other card, but it's not right, because it'll blend right into the background of the navy polka dot. So then I'm also now going to look at this this card because it says right on and it has an arrow pointing towards my grandson. This layout is really about, they had this big kids play, I don't know, climb on equipment, whatever, indoor equipment. And he's only 3, and it's not like you can't get an adult in this thing, not easily anyway. You have to be a pretty small adult. And so I was a little worried about him going up in this, and rightfully so, because another little girl went up who was the same age as he was, and she got stuck and she wouldn't come out. But once my grandson figured out, he wasn't very tall compared to some of the climbing spaces. And once he figured out that to come back down, he could lay on his belly and put his feet down until his feet touched. He was great. But I didn't let him go really far. I kind of kept him where I could see him, just in case he got in trouble. And then the little girl went up past him and got stuck, and he couldn't go that far. She actually got scared when she went through that kind of fabric tube thing that you see in the photo to the left. And so I was really worried about my grandson, but he was just fine. He was so brave. Grandma was worried way more than she needed to be about him. So, but anyway, it was my first experience with him in one of these things. So, you know, you just don't know. So I'm looking again at a journaling card, and you know, it says love this. I thought that was kind of cute, but it's green and it's just too big and blocky. So I'm going to play with this a little bit. It takes me a while to figure out the border strip and the journaling spot both. And then I also want to use some other sort of thing. So my original plan for the border strip was to lay it on the bottom of the navy paper or the bottom of this polka dot paper, but there wasn't enough of that. So I do like the love this dude, but there's a lot of other dudes in that play space, and he's, you know, not the only one. So it's a little weird because it's kind of pointing to somebody that might not be him. So then I figured out that the border strip would be best along the bottom. And then when I figured that out, I decided to not use the kind of chevron. I just use this diagonal stripe that brings all the colors in, which looks fantastic. So now I'm going to go through the Amy Tangerine die cut pack here and see what I can find to put on the layout. And what ends up happening is I really don't end up using anything from this die cut pack. But I am going to also go through the sticker book. So this is the Amy Tangerine Better Together stickers. And I'm going to find a couple of things that are actually good candidates for using on this layout. So there's a small sticker that might work. I kind of like that one, but I didn't like how the navy blended in so much there. And then I found this pinky red journaling spot, and I really like that because that will really set itself off from the rest of the layout. I popped it on my wax paper so I can move it around and decide what I want to do there. And when I did that, then I decided that I wanted to cut some of the paper off of the polka dot paper because it wasn't going to need as much space on the right. And the layout is grounded because it does have that border strip on the bottom now. So now I've pulled out the Chamel sticker. This is Chamel Starshine, and it's called the stickers, but it really is the chipboard pieces. Just so that you know that. And I found that little circle that says "So Happy" in there, and I really like that. It's a really good match to the pinky red of the Amy Tangerine Better Together collection. So just that you know that those collections actually work pretty well together in lots of ways. So I've used them together before. So just kind of deciding, I don't want the edge of that sticker to line up exactly necessarily with the edge of the edge of the paper there. And I found a globe there that says explore, and it has a little rocket on it. So I thought that was perfect for a little boy layout. So I'm playing with this, getting it at least the main block now down because I've decided what I want to do for sure there. And I'm looking for other elements there that to put down. And I decide before I do anything else, before I kind of adhere that cluster to the right with the journaling spot in it, that I really need to decide what to do with the title, like how where it's going to land. And you can see there that I'm going to title this So Brave, but I didn't have a capital B left, so I'm going to use a capital D, and then I'm going to put a period in the middle to make it into a B. So I alter my letters as much as I possibly can because obviously you get more for your money if you actually do that, if you're missing a letter. So brave because Grandma was nervous and he was just fine. And I found an exclamation point there that I decided to use on the title. And now I know where I want things to go. So I'm going to start adhering things down. And I love that wax paper because it's really enabling me to eye things up. And I need to move my sticker just a little bit up because of the way the title and the globe will rest with all of that together. So I've got just about got that down, and I'm using my ETG to adhere the chipboard. There's, you know, stickiness on it, but I want to make sure that chipboard doesn't come off because, as we all know, it is very much known to do that. Okay, and I'm just going to get these letters down. I really like this font, this doll font. It's nice and clean. And this is a great color. This is a beautiful green match to the green of the background paper. And I think they came together, if I remember correctly, that this is part of that collection. I don't remember for sure. I probably should write that down at some point, but you know, if you know what the font is, that will definitely help you. It's a beautiful Kelly green, one of my personal favorite colors. Now I'm looking at this, but all the while I'm looking at this, I'm also thinking, you know, I have that So Happy chipboard piece for the upper left, but I want more in that cluster than just that. So I'm trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? Because not sure that there's any other chipboard that I like. There were a few stickers from the Amy Tangerine that maybe I could use, but the colors, when I'm thinking about some of them, like I like that small little tiny like label that I first pulled out of that pack, but then it's too yellow against the yellow up there. So that I'm going to think about this a little bit because there's not enough weight up in that upper right side there. So we need to figure it out. So what I do now is I pull out my Simple Stories pieces, and I did, this is the Snap Life documented collection, and I pulled the chipboard out, but none of that's going to end up on there. I'm going to end up using the stickers instead, and they're called the icon stickers. Oh, stickers, and I also did look at the ephemera as well. And I don't end up using any of that ephemera. Here come the stickers. So there's lots of tabs left there and lots of different colors that match this collection. So I pulled a red one off because that's going to look great with the red. It's a nice match. It's kind of a pinky red as well. Now, okay, that looks great, but I still want one more piece there, and I'm, you know, trying to figure out what that is. And I find this little banner sticker with a yellow stripe, and I like that piece, although I'm going to fool around with it just a little bit. And I'm continuing to look at some of the stickers there, and I find the sticker that says hello, and that'll be a nice third item into that cluster there. And I'll add that with some, I'll end up adding some foam tape behind it so that it stays propped up. And I'm not quite in love with how the banner looks there, what's going on with that banner, so I'm futzing around with that a little bit. And here's my big roll of foam tape that's not so big anymore. I'm going to have to get some more of this pretty soon. I go through foam tape a lot. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that I want to use on the layout, and I don't find it. And I am going to put a chipboard star on the top right of that journaling block. That chipboard star is from the Chamel chipboard. So look for that, because I'm pretty sure I don't do that on the layout here. Just gluing a few more things down before I get to writing. And I decided I didn't like the arrow. It was a little bit too cartoony for the rest of the layout. So I have just a little bit of journaling that I'm going to do. I put the date on the tab, and then just a little journaling about how brave he was, about how I was worried about him, and he was such a big boy. Grandma didn't need to be worried about him at all. I'm just about done. You'll see a still shot at the end and a couple of detail shots. Hope you are all well, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye!